Canada. Growing up, there was a lot of shows from Canada that I watched. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, there were a lot of Canadian shows that were broadcast here. It would be Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, Degrassi, The Next Generation, The Sack Files, I Was a Sixth Grade Alien. What? Never heard that one? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about another Canadian TV series that aired on the Fox Family / ABC Family channel here in America from 1999 to 2001. And over in Canada on some channel, I don't know what channel, but yeah, like I said, and it was about a high school senior who was bit by a creature that turns him into a werewolf. And with the help of his friend, Merton J. Dingle, they battle strange creatures and villains throughout the series. So with that in mind, let's talk about Big Wolf on Campus. Big Wolf on Campus, like I said, came out in 1999. It starred Brandon Quinn as Tommy Dawkins, Danny Smith as Merton J. Dingle, and he also wrote and sang the theme song with his band, and Rochelle Lefevre as Stacey Hansen. This rounded out the cast, their principal cast for season 1, as every season only had 3 main characters in the opening. There was a bunch of recurring characters throughout the series, but never more than 3, regulars. And the story is that Tommy Dawkins, played by Brandon Quinn, while on a senior trip the night before his senior year begins, he is on this camping trip with his friends, football team, whatever, and he is bit by a wolf, which soon begins to turn him into a werewolf. This catches the eye of Merton J. Dingle, who realizes what's going on and tries to help him out. However, there is one single problem. Stacey Hansen, played by Rochelle Lefevre, who, up until this point, was only dating seniors, which should be illegal because seniors would be 17, 18 years old and they're dating minors. I don't know. I'm not going to try to... They're probably like 22 years old here anyway, but I'm just saying. For the sake of the TV show, that's what she was doing. And, well, lo and behold, Tommy is a senior now, so she has interest in him, and she asks him out. And now that he's turned into a werewolf, that causes a problem, because their date takes place on a full moon. And as you know, for a werewolf, full moon is no good. He starts to change, And that's basically the first episode, the pilot. It's not a Monster of the Week episode. It's just, him learning, about werewolves and living with it and getting his werewolf power, stuff like that. It's just your basic transformation story, your origin story. And then we get to the Monster of the Week format, which I thought about this while I sat down, was looking over stuff. So, I know it happens in a lot of shows, but think of this. All these years living in Pleasantville, and all this weird stuff doesn't start happening until after Tommy becomes a werewolf. It's kind of, weird. There are a bunch of recurring characters, like I mentioned. Most notably, there is Tommy's family, his brother Dean Dawkins, who is often there for advice if Tommy needs it. If Tommy is feeling down or needs some kind of advice, he talks to Dean, and without spoiling too much, without, going into too much detail on what he needs information for, it's usually brotherly advice he gets, and it helps him out in the long run. His parents, Sally Dawkins, who is a local TV reporter, is a local TV reporter, and his dad, Bob Dawkins, is the mayor. And that, more so in season 1 and maybe part of season 2, they kind of, work that in, but after season 1, it kind of starts to go downhill. Focuses more, during season 1, there is more focus on the recurring characters as well as Tommy and Merton and Stacy. But after season 1 gets over with in season 2, it's more focused on the main characters with some stuff happening here and there. But not all families can be supportive. Enter Becky Dingle, Merton's sister, who, while it's shown that she does love her brother, she's very mean to him and often refers to him as Freaker. But there is love between them, as we see in certain episodes. But yeah, and she has a massive crush on Tommy, which never gets reciprocated, which, works, I guess. But, there are certain antagonists for the characters that aren't villain of the week's type characters, and that's mainly in the form of Tim and Travis Eckert, or TNT, as they call themselves. And they're mostly antagonistic towards Merton, while even before, Tommy turned into a werewolf, they were sort of friends with him. And they still remain sort of buddies, talking to him here and there. But they always pick on Merton, because he's a geek, nerd, goth dude. And he's a goth. Another antagonist is the school security guard, Hugo Bostwick. Who's this weird military type guy who guards the school and leads to often weird and wacky stuff happening. Throughout most of the series, most of the episodes are your standard Monster of the Week episodes with no overarching story, save for a few beats here or there. In season 1, there was very little overarching story. It was very much Tommy and Merton teaming up, with Tommy wolfing out and taking down a bad guy in each episode. There is one overarching story that happens towards the end of season 1, and that's when Stacy's former boyfriend, Eric the Arm, returns and wants her back. This causes problems between him and Tommy, and Stacy and Tommy at one point, especially in the episode Big Bad Wolf, when when Merton tells Tommy to release his evil side, and it literally releases the evil side onto Pleasantville. Yes, Pleasantville is where it takes place. And there are two Tommies going around. One evil, one good, with Tommy eventually having to embrace his evil side and bring it back together. This does cause a bit of a rift between him and Stacy, but eventually by the end of season 1, they get together. There are some notable villains that return in future episodes, but most of them are just one-offs. The only ones I could think of are the Grim Reaper, the Werewolf Syndicate, and there's one more. Grim Reaper, the Werewolf Syndicate, and Butch. Only ones I can think of. Season 2, the format changed. For one, the look of everything was, during the first season, it was very much dark and grungy, grimy type thing. By season 2, it seemed like the production was more clean, and less of Merton's hair changed from this weird little poof thing he had going on to straight up spikes. Tommy's wardrobe was changed. It was more of a cleaner wardrobe, and not this quick put together, weird 90s shows. We were now going into the 2000s, and maybe they decided to clean it up. I don't know. But there were some changes as Rochelle Lefebvre left the show, and it was written in that she got to go to college early, I think it was. And so she was replaced by Lori Baxter, played by Mae Castle, who remained on the show for the rest of the series. Also gone after season 1 was Hugo Bostwick. Not seen after that. Maybe they decided to cut some things. Most of the other characters stayed, but with the parents being less and less prominent as the series went on. And like I said, most of the format was still Monster of the Week, but season 2 introduced an overarching story with the Werewolf Syndicate, first seen in I forgot the episode of the name of the episode, but I think I have it on here. First seen in one of the early episodes of season 2, there's a 2-parter with the Werewolf Syndicate that features Lori being bitten by hypnotized Tommy and turning her into an evil werewolf. Merton would eventually all 3 of the main characters would become werewolves at a certain point, with Merton not becoming a werewolf until season 3, but the one thing I always found weird is that Tommy's the only one that gets bit and stays good, whereas if other people are bit, like Tommy or Merton and Lori are both bitten and they turn evil. But Tommy is the only one with a soul good enough to stay good. I don't know. It's weird. But yes, the Werewolf Syndicate builds up the arc, and as weird as it was, they're not even part of the season finale. They're part of the series finale, but not a part of the season finale. With a totally different villain being the ultimate villain of season 2. Butch was an antagonist during the first season for one episode where Tommy and Merton got sent to detention, and they had to watch one of those old 50s style videos where, Butch is a mean guy. You shouldn't be a mean guy. One of those videos. And then when he returns in season 2, he's in one of Merton's old black and white sci-fi films. And Merton mentions that he could return one last time, but as an ally. Typical threequel, story, which never happens. But he is one of my favorite villains of the series, as it stands. Like I said, but the one thing they got about season 2 is they basically repeat the story beats that they did with, not like actual stories, but they go through some of the beats, like, there's a new girl in town, and Tommy has a crush on her, and he wants to go out with her, and but he's a werewolf, and he has to hide it. The one thing they do to switch this up is that Merton also has feelings for Lori, and this creates a love triangle, which in shows you gotta have a love triangle if you're gonna do something like this, which works. And another thing that changes is that Lori actually finds out that Tommy's a werewolf. She becomes the 3rd member of their team, and it actually helps because she's a kickboxer, so she can actually help Tommy, unlike Merton, who just sits there and spits out, this reminds me of this movie, with Tommy saying what happened, and Merton talks about how the movie did in the box office or something, and he goes, no, in the movie, what happened in the movie, and then he has to tell him, this, and this. It's one of the biggest running gags of the series. It's almost every episode. There's even one episode where the thing is reversed, and Tommy has to reference a movie to Merton, into which Merton asks what happened. Tommy does the gag where it's, and then this. No, in the movie. It's a good running gag, and I always enjoy hearing it. Then, as mentioned, Lori becomes a part of the team in season 2, and she ends up, being a good part of the team. Then we get to the season finale. Season finale sees a new girl, Melissa, catch the eye of Merton. He has a crush on her, and he wants to go out with her. However, it turns out she's secretly Medusa and doesn't go out with mortals. Upon seeing that Tommy's a werewolf, she gets eyes for him. However, Merton is distraught, he's down, and Laurie comes to comfort him, and they end up kissing. However, Tommy sees this. And this is after they've already dated and broken up, but they still remain friends, but he still has feelings for Laurie, and when he sees them kiss, it hurts him. And, well, eventually, Melissa, or Medusa, goes after Laurie because Tommy says that he still has feelings for Laurie, so she's going to go after her to turn her to stone so that she's not a problem. This culminates in the season finale cliffhanger where Merton, throughout most of the rest of this episode, tries to get Tommy's forgiveness and he just won't do anything. And Medusa starts to hit when they go to save Laurie. Medusa hypnotizes Tommy, and also, if I can't have you, no one can. She goes to turn him into stone, and Merton jumps in the way and gets turned into stone. This is our cliffhanger. They use a mirror to turn Medusa into stone, and then they end on Merton. Put Merton in his lair, which is where his little hide is. It's a basement in his house, but it's his lair, it's his room. And, men of action, buddy. And they leave. And then season 3 picks up right after this. However, the actors did noticeably change. Like their hair, Brandon Quinn's hair is a little more curly. Laurie's hair is a little bit longer. And what I liked about this is they do reference it. They're like, you saw with your hair? No? You? No? They kind of reference it. And this introduces us to our recurring character for season 3, Maxwell Fong. As Merton leaves a video testimonial, a long-ass video testimonial that tells them, if he has, a whole bunch of ailments, and none of them are being turned into stone, and at the end he says that if none of these can be helped by what I've said, if none of these are the problem, then there's a man named Maxwell Fong. They go to him to get this antidote, which is actually a very strong poison, the Chai Dao berry poison, which frees Merton from his containment in the stone, but he is also poisoned. He's blind. He compares it to Han Solo in Return of the Jedi, of course, and so Tommy has to fight the champion, which is the Cyclops, and Tommy wins, of course. He gets the antidote, and we see Fong later in a future episode, which I think is only 1 or 2 episodes, but he does appear again. And I was like Fong. I thought he should have been on the show more. But yeah, also in season 3, Travis Eckert, the actor who played him, I guess, was unavailable, so they just had Tim Eckert show up. And really, he doesn't really do much. He's not really, I don't know why they kept him on. Maybe just to have a TNT presence on the show, but because he doesn't really do much. But I'm not going to talk about individual episodes. I talk about Stone Free because it's not... I'm going to do a countdown of my top 10 favorite episodes. I talked about Stone Free because it's not in there. And we'll get to the Butch stuff because that's in there too. But, like I said, then once they get Merton free, they go back to their Monster of the Week formula. And like I said, there's an episode where Merton's a werewolf. There's an episode where Tommy wishes he wasn't a werewolf anymore. There's a Terminator one. Season 3 is perhaps the wackiest the show gets. There's an episode with the genie. There's an episode with the alien boy band. There's an episode with a Terminator type episode. There's an episode with a superhero who controls the weather. There's an episode where aliens impregnate Merton. There's an episode where there's a body switcher and she changes places with Laurie. There's an episode with an evil Santa Claus. See where I'm going here? there's even an episode in season 2. There is an episode in which Corey Haim plays a vampire, and that pays off in this season. I'm not gonna talk about it because we'll get to that when I do the top 10 episodes, because that's in there. But that pays off in this season when Corey Feldman. See, the whole thing about it is that Merton wanted Corey Haim to star in his film that he's writing, and with Corey Haim dead, he writes to Corey Feldman. That pays off in this episode, in this season, which is like the last 3 episodes, where Corey Feldman comes in and he wants to talk to Merton about his script. Now, the last 3 episodes feature the character of Sloane, and here's the weird thing about that, is that the actress who played Sloane actually played Carole in the first season episode about the Catwoman. And now she's playing a completely different character in this season. Also, they graduate in this season. It's the last season. They graduate at the end. How long is this senior year? Because the show has lasted 3 seasons. There have been seniors all 3 seasons. In the episode Stuck Like an Egyptian, they take a senior class photo. And in season 2, in the episode with the Spider People, Tommy wins prom king. So how long is this senior year? It's been, you're saying all 3 seasons have been 1 consecutive school year? I mean, I know that season 3 picks up right after season 2. Like, right after. Like, they leave, and then they come right back. They're wearing the same clothes. Their hair looks different, but they're wearing the same clothes. And I don't know, it's just weird. And yeah, like I said, season 3 is the weirdest we get. So, I gotta reference this. There's an episode, Everybody Feng Chung Tonight, in which Merton meets a couple of werewolf-eating vampires, which I don't know if that's a thing, but okay. I know vampires aren't real, werewolves aren't real, but in lore, you know what I'm saying? Well, one of them gets staked. The one that bites Merton gets staked, and he turns back to being a normal person. And he pretends to stake Cassandra, I think her name is, the girl that he likes. He pretends to stake her, but he doesn't. Instead, he sticks her on the Werewolf Syndicate, which completely depletes the Werewolf Syndicate. The only member left is Gil, the son of the former leader of the Werewolf Syndicate, and he's an idiot. So he begins working. So Corey Feldman is sent to deal with them the vampire way, and that doesn't work. They end up staking Feldman. You know, that doesn't work. I don't think that one. I think that one's in my, yeah, so I can talk about it. And then we get somebody in a hood, and the voice is changed. Or no, they don't even talk. There's someone talking to him, and it turns out it's Sloane, who's been this minor little character we've barely seen, and we know that both guys have a crush on. As we know, the last time they both had feelings for someone, which was Lori, it didn't work out that well. They both got hurt. Merton got turned to stone. You know. But, so Merton ends up dead. Like, he's a ghost. And, of course, he references a ghost. And he's like, I'm Swayze. Patrick Swayze. I mean, Merton. And, like, he tries to talk to Lori, but Tommy interrupts. And it turns out that Sloane's kiss kills. Or at least, you know, if she kisses the body again for a certain time, they come back to life. So Merton possesses the body of Sloane and forces her to kiss his body. So he's basically kissing himself to bring himself back to life. And they defeat Sloane. They graduate. And the series ends with Tommy. They go into different colleges. And Tommy's in his room. He's talking to Lori. And he's waiting for his new roommate to get in. And it turns out it's Merton. And then Merton tells Lori that he thinks that the janitor is a leprechaun or something. And they'll hurry up and... no, something, huh? But it sets up that it could continue. And at this point, I had seen the Boy Meets World finale. So I knew, okay, this was a finale. But it seemed like it could continue. So I thought it was going to continue in college. Because you can still call it Big Wolf on Campus if they're in college. But no, that's the series finale. It's a decent ending. Overall, you guys, I know I just spoiled like the main plot points of the series. And yes, that's a major part of it. But you should really go check out each individual episode because they're very... I mean, they don't have any DVD releases, at least not legal ones. But I think most of the episodes are available on YouTube. You just got to search them, I think. But yeah, it's a very interesting show. I love the show dearly. I'm going to do a top 10 on them. So this has been a Let's Talk About Big Wolf on Campus. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe for more. I will be doing a top 10 Big Wolf on Campus as well. This is my schedule I'm trying to do. Along with some movie reviews today, I'm going to try to get these lists on. Top 10 Big Wolf on Campus episodes. Right? That's the next one. Top 10 live-action Nickelodeon shows. Top 10 Nickelodeon game shows. Top 10 Nicktoons. And we'll switch over to Cartoon Network. Top 10 Cartoon Network shows, which aren't original shows, just shows that I watched when they aired on Cartoon Network. And ranking the cartoons. And then I have to sit down and write a list for Fox Kids shows. And that's probably going to be my list. I probably could have got these done last week when I was on vacation if there wasn't so much, stuff they were doing in my apartment. The new carpet, the new singing in the bedroom, just that stuff going on. So I'm trying to get it done before the month is over because this is for my birth month and I want to get them done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and the end of the month is Saturday is the last day of the month. And you'll get the Invisible Man review for the new one. I'm going to do that Saturday. I got to find time to watch the original one, which might be today. You're going to get a review for Mortal Kombat today. Maybe Mortal Kombat Annihilation if I have time between these lists. I hope I do. I have Mortal Kombat playing right now, actually. It's probably over. I don't know. But, yeah. So, like, share, and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.